Good morning or afternoon, guys. Welcome back to my channel. So we're getting into the tiling that I did last year, and these were the stick-on tiles that I used, and I'll be sure to, of course, leave them in the description below. I went for this white marbly kind of color because of what I saw it had originally. Of course, it's a simple process. I also got these, what do you call these strip thingies. They kind of they kind of help to finish the look. Here are my friends. I know some of you guys remember this clip from a previous video, but I have to big up the Lins every time for starting this process when we were just moving in. But of course, I had to take it from there and do the additional work over time. And this process was, as I said, super simple. It actually comes somewhat separated, like every 3 strips it's kind of separated, so depending on the space that you need to put it in, you can kind of separate it from there. There's me using a pencil to kind of, you know, go through with the scissors to cut out where the grill man doing thing, and just to cut down that piece. So it's easy to even break them up into singles if you need to, or into 3s or 2s, and then just fit them in the space that you need, essentially. And I, as you know, these homes are not the biggest homes ever, so I really took a lot of time in making the space, look the way, as close to what we would want it to be. And yeah, guys, subscribe. But sorry, forgot to mention that. Please make sure not subscribe, because I know you guys are enjoying the content. So subscribe, like, and of course share it with a friend. So as I was saying, it's a simple process. You really just strip off the back, and guys, when you strip off the back, as it says, you strip and you stick, right? You strip and you stick. You no bother waiting a long time for put it on. And guys, when it's sticking out, it don't when it stick, it's on. There's no shifting it, there's no moving it. It's legit pasted, and if you try to lift it off, chances are some paint is gonna come too. So I advise you just line it up neat and just do the needful. Just do the needful, guys. And this is what it was looking like after I put in most of the tiles. Of course, I had done that wall after. As you can see, there are a lot of spaces in between the grooves. Some of them we had to cut to kind of make them fit sensibly. And that's where Babe actually used some gray grout to kind of, make it look a little more seamless. Right, so the next time we got into it, you will notice that it's gonna look a lot better, as you can kind of see from this view that I'm giving you. And so we finished grouting by the time we're here now, and we're adding in the strip. And I actually love this little strip idea. It actually helps it to kind of just seal the look. It seal the look, make it look a little bit more, I guess, realistic. Because guys, as much as I stick on tile I use, I love when people come in my house and them not really noticing, them really think a backsplash I go buy it, not knowing that I spend under $50 for them tile. And just for perspective, I actually use like 2.5 boxes to complete the kitchen space. And for the strip, I only needed to buy 1 strip, and I actually still have piece left over. So it was really perfect. So once you line it up, and then of course you use your trusty pencil and scissors, then what I did before taking off the back part, I strip and stick. Oh god, I know it sounds cheesy, I know, but I legit strip and stick. So you'll see me pulling out the red part, so that way I ensure that it got all the way up to that edge, because as I said, I just wanted it to look as as seamless as possible. So this was the final result after all the grouting and installation, which we absolutely loved. And this is actually 1 year later. As you guys can see, it's still holding up. I'm still super happy. We have not had to replace anything with these stick-on towels. All we do is wipe it off when we cook and splash, and that's about it. Some of the towels, as you can see, they're not as flat as I would like them to be, but that's just because Portmore hot. So I mean, when it did lift up like a bit, then you know it actually stayed in that way, and then this actually came down, but as you can see, it never dropped down. So I do think it's just probably when I stick it, I never press down hard enough. And then also for the grout, we didn't really use a brand new grout. You know, we get like a donated grout and use it. So yeah, so that's why there are a little 1-2 hiccups around the place. But I do think if you have like fresh grout and you take your time, put it in, and you're good to go. I also realized if you mix the grout too watery, then it's gonna affect how flat these sit as well. So just be mindful, especially if you're DIYing it yourself. But everything is intact. You know, no mind the 1-2 stain them, guys. It just need to scrub down properly and we're good to go. So we're actually moving on from tiling, and I'm actually going to show you guys some really good breakfast that I whipped up for me and Bay in this rainy season. So let's get into the cooking. So Bay and I actually have made a lot of changes when it comes to preparing our dishes, because both of us actually can cook. I mean, amen girl, man can cook. It's a blessing. But anyways, yes, so I actually we cut out things like sausage. So we try our best not to eat like what do you call it, sausage, and like we're trying to eat more seafood and that kind of thing. So for breakfast, for example, instead of using like sausage with our eggs, we actually do shrimp and eggs. So here I am putting together around 10 pieces of the medium shrimp. Of course, I have to wash the shrimp first, and it's a little tough, so I'm thawing it out in some water, and I'm gonna add a little bit of vinegar to it. But of course, I'm not gonna let it sit too long. It's just to clean it up a bit. Using callaloo, and these are from the roadside man, you know, a fresh callaloo, and as you can see, the little bit we have left, so that's something that we've added a lot more to our diet as well. Of course, seasoning, so of course we have our onions, garlic, and a little bit of tomato. There's a piece that I had left back in the fridge. And then we'll also be making waffles to go with it. So I don't know about anybody else, but Hungry Jack pancakes are lit. And before you come for me, Nona said, but Tony, why you never make the pancake them from scratch? I'm lazy. But anyways, I have this what you call it, a waffle maker, and guys, don't watch how it dirty. I am gonna wash it. I'm gonna wash it before, and of course we can't talk about where I make eggs or pancakes without some eggs. So definitely throwing that into the mix. So it's gonna be a very interesting breakfast, healthy but still tastes good. So of course we can't just eat the sauce of pancake. We have to add a little tubs of vanilla in there, and of course I wanted to add a little bit of cinnamon to the thing to give that extra buzz, you know, to get that extra little flavor there. All right, so these are the ingredients that we're working with today. So let's get into the cooking. So now that the shrimp is well thawed out and of course cleaned, I'm just gonna take off the shrimp tail. I mean, I know people eat it with it, you know, but I don't really mind shot that. So I always just pit them off, and because it's already pre-cooked, it's not hard. You know, once it's thawed out, you just take your time and squeeze it on the end and just take it right off. Simple thing, right? So once we take off all the ends, and we just drain off the water, the water and vinegar mixture off of the shrimp, and give it a little rinse, right? And then we'll have to season it, you know, and we don't just use, you know, salt and pepper. You know, we'll have to get a little vibes, guys. I have to get a little vibes, right? Sometimes if I want it stretched, like I would cut up the shrimp finer, but it's alright. I don't mind the chunks. All right, so I'm taking out black pepper, salt, and of course my favorite, Mrs. Dash. And I know to see me looking for one more seasoning. I wonder who can guess what it will be. Cumin. Cumin. Want to know about cumin? I find enough people don't know about cumin, you know. But guys, if you put cumin in any curry pot, you put cumin on any meat, even with beef, it's just such a good. It's a good combination. Like, I love cumin in everything, and I say when we put Mrs. Dash in everything, in a business, right? So I put about, call it 1 teaspoon of everything in there. And if you're wondering where my rotating seasoning display comes from, of course it's from Amazon, and I'll be sure to link that below. You actually get quite a few of these bottles, and it also comes with labels, and it comes with different, what you call that, shaker tops, right? So some of them it allows you to pour as well as shake, and some of them it's just to shake alone. So I've had these for 1 year as well, and I have been satisfied this whole time. And what I like to do, especially if it is that I'm not soaking overnight, I like to top a little bit of oil on whatever meat I'm seasoning, and I find that it allows whatever meat, poultry, fish that I'm seasoning to absorb the flavors faster, and this just cut down the cooking time. So I'm the type of person that I like to practice mise en place, meaning that I prefer to season up, cut up, do all of that stuff prior to getting down to the real cooking. So let's get into this waffle maker, guys. I legit used it on the weekend. I got lazy, didn't get to clean it. My help afraid for cleaning it, because as you can see, it's electric. So, but there's a way to clean it. The only time you'll see it crust up like this is if you pour too much mixture in it. But I'm gonna show you how I get it clean, right? And there are people who will use like a brush, but me, like an Axion and or dishwashing liquid, whatever your preference, and a Scotch Brite, it do. And all I do is make sure I keep the plug on the outside, right? And I don't allow the water to get into contact with the motor too much. The motor is in the back. Remember motor. Whatever it is that carries the charge, yeah, man. So I'm not take it them way there, but yeah. Alright, so I just want a little water so that I can activate the soap. And then I just kind of scrub in between the grooves, because it's a non-stick surface, So what you'll find is the actual base where it forms the shape of the waffles, they tend not to have any grime or any leftover product. But if you put too much mixture in the pan, then you'll find that you're gonna get those little crust particles around the edges. And me's a girl we clean still, so me now go cook with it look so crusty and rough. So we have to make sure we get it sorted before we make make Panda the nice breakfast, While I clean up the rest of this kitchen, I think it's a great time for you to subscribe. Just hit the button. Yeah, man, it'll glow right now. Just hit that subscribe button right down there so so that you can see more content like this, and of course more home related content. All right, so we just have to clean up before we continue, and and then we start with the breakfast nice. So I actually got this as a gift last year for my housewarming event. Shout out to Bobby Lou's cousin, Melanie. Big up yourself. But it actually came with several knives and a scissors option. And at the top, it's actually a knife sharpener. So yeah, it's pretty versatile. And you could get it in other colors. I'll be sure to link the link on Amazon to where I got this item. And guys, it is an affiliated link, so I'd appreciate the support, if it is that you're interested in purchasing any of these items that I'm mentioning. But yeah, so it comes with several knives, from your slicing knives to your deboning knives, steak knives. And I use these pretty much every day, hence why them kind of rub out. But they've been good. I've had to sharpen it probably once since I've gotten it, and once is saying a lot. One's soft in my opinion, right? So using my trusty cutting board, and I actually got this cutting board as a gift from Sagicor. Well, in fact, not me, Marudi. My mom got it, and then she re-gifted it to me. They actually gave it out to some preferred customers last year as well, so she gave it to me. So I use this cutting board quite a lot because it's nice and small, and it makes it easy to just use, because as you know, when I get enough counter top space with them also, so we'll just have to make do with the space that we have. So yeah, that's me essentially cutting up the tomatoes, dicing them up nice and fine. These are the seasonings that I would have mentioned earlier, so of course I'm gonna get some garlic out there. And I don't know if anybody cuts their garlic like me. I see some people do it ish like me on TikTok, But what I like to do essentially is to kind of cut the top part of the garlic, the little rough part right there. So I like to cut that part, and then I like to squish it down with the back of a knife. And I just find that just make it easier for peel the garlic, all right? I know people have other methods, but doing it this way for me just easier, especially if you're dealing with a lot of garlic. And if anybody did culinary, I don't know if you guys know, but I actually do have a food and beverage degree. As much as me in marketing, the heart realizing culinary, but just never got that route there, is in me. And of course you guys can check out my employment video to find out about that story. But yeah, never got that route there. But it doesn't mean that I can't use my culinary skills, for Boobiloo, cause I have to make sure say, the man belly full and him nice, and as I said, the man I cook for me, so why me can't cook for him, Good man forget good things, and good woman forget good things. Not true. So I don't know about you guys, but me like when my seasoning, it kind of cut up, what you call it, medium to fine. I'm gonna really like taste the big chunks in my eggs. Like the callaloo don't go get the egg them body. So everything else I just want dice it as small as possible. So even though I did some cuts down the onion, you're gonna see me go it over again just to ensure that I get it fine, nice and smooth. So that way when you mix it up with the callaloo and the shrimp and the eggs, the body is not gonna, or the amount of vegetables rather, in the what you call it, in the scrambled egg, it's not gonna overpower the egg itself, right? Because as you can see, I'm actually gonna be using 3 eggs for the scrambled eggs, and I'll go use 1 egg into the pancake mixture. So for these eggs, I'm gonna use my non-stick Martha Stewart pan, 10-inch pan. Listen, I love Martha Stewart pots, guys. Listen, I know so them expensive, I'm never gonna lie. I know them expensive. Like I bought a lot of these at All That Matters, and I actually did a video showing a tour. I feel like All That Matters have some really nice pots, quality pots. I've had this pot for over a year, and you see the color still nice and bright. I love Martha Stewart pots. I'm gonna put an Amazon link down in the description, so you guys can choose to go that route. But because of the clearing and all of that, I'm gonna just buy it down at All That Matters, because it kind of work out to the same price. But it's up to you, because I know some people really prefer to do the online thing. And what I like to do, I like to put all the seasoning in, including basil and oregano, and of course drizzle a little bit of oil on it, and I just put that to the side. Alright, so I put that to the side so that way I can focus on the pancake. And what I find is that the oil, I don't know, I just like how they put the oil in the shrimp. When I put the oil beforehand, like cold oil, and let it sit on this, it just soak up all the flavors out of that, out of the seasoning mixture that I would have done. Alright, so I'm gonna go in with, a 1 cup measuring cup for the Hungry Jack mixture. And just taking a bowl, again, I bought this bowl from All That Matters, guys. I'm telling you, I love All That Matters, man. I love them. You see the bowl they thick? See the bowl thick? And I have that bowl, I think, almost 2 years now too, You see how the color is still pretty? Trust me, that's a one thing, but definitely miss Bow Manning to the road. Being near to All That Matters. But don't worry, Christmas are coming on, so I must go back, right? So I really just follow the recipe on the back. But I don't really like to measure. After a while, once I get used to it, I know the hang of everything, right? So it's just 1 egg, and if you go in by the box, you're really supposed to use a 1/4 cup of oil, right? Vegetable oil preferred, and then you're supposed to use 2.5 cup of the pancake mix, but I'm only using 1 cup of the pancake mix because you can get a lot out of 2.5 cup. So I usually use like 1 cup, or probably 1.5 cup or a 1/4, right? And that will serve between me and babe. That will give us about three pancakes. Yeah, 3 waffles in this instance, right? Waffle pancake, same thing, right? And of course, I like to add some water as well. You don't have a choice with the water, but they usually say add as preferred. Some people prefer their pancakes or waffles to be extra crispy. So if you want it to be extra crispy, then you want a more runny consistency. If you want it to be on the fluffier side, on the thicker side, then you're gonna go for a thicker mixture, so you're gonna use less water. All right, so that's a tip that you can use when you're using the quick mix, or even if you're making it from scratch. I usually like an in-between, so I want it to have some body, but I want it to have that crispiness to it. So I usually try to mix it to get that in between. And I usually like to mix up all of my liquid ingredients first. That's just habit from baking, and then I throw in the dry mixture. But what they don't tell you is that when it comes to like a pre-mix, even with cake mix, guys, you can't really mess it up. I don't really know how people mess up cake mix and them stuff, because technically you can't really mess it up. Once you get all the ingredients and the quantities in there, then you should be good to go. Once you know how liquid it should be at the end, you should be good to go. So if you accidentally, do dry then wet, then dry then wet, dry then wet, and never do mix all your wet first and you dry, you can still catch it back, man. You can still catch it back. But if you do it from scratch, that's a different something. So that me forgot to talk about is now one completely different video when me a bake for true. Alright. So there I'm adding a little bit more of the pancake mixture. That is the quarter that I said that I would add. Right? Because first I add the 1 cup, mix it out, see it go, and then I will add a little bit more because I'm trying to get the body to be, as I said, an in-between body. You know, I don't really want it to be runny, and I don't want it to be too thick. I just want it to be just right. Now it's time to get our eggs ready. And no guys, I don't break on the side and do all them fancy stuff there. I find when I break it on the side, it always leak out on the counter. I just feel like that give me extra work, you know. So I can't. Guys, I'm such a laid back person. As much as like I'm such an extrovert, like I'm so laid back when it comes to certain things. Like, why make my life harder than it needs to be? I feel like my ancestors did enough of that. So, you know, they did what they did so that I could relax now, right? And of course, my rinse my hand. Guys, it's a good thing the camera not over the sink. Because if you don't ever see much time me wash my hands since we cook, it's just a habit, man. Anybody will do cooking know, so that is a big habit. So of course for this now, we just add salt and pepper. There's no need to do too much because as you can see, we have our seasoning cut up over there with the basil and oregano. And then we have our shrimp, which is well seasoned up with the Mrs. Dash, the cumin and the excitement. So for the eggs, we're just keeping it simple with a little bit of salt and pepper, right? And so I'm just mixing that mixture one more time. And we're good to go. It's time for turn up the fire, plug in the waffle maker, and get going. Because I'm hungry at this point. I'm sure Boo be hungry too. So with this waffle maker, it's actually very straightforward. As you guys will notice, there's a blue light, and what that blue light means is that it's not ready yet. So it's not hot enough as yet. If it is that there was a waffle in there, the blue light would still be there until it turns off, and that's when you have the perfect waffle. Guys, I guarantee you it not go burn up once the light turn off and you take it out. If the light turn off and you leave it in there, that is you leaving it there at your own risk. But as far as the Dash product say, it ready, so it is time to go. And I know you guys seen the steam. That's just coming from the water that we had left back in there. I just left the water in there because we didn't wash it out already, right? And for the eggs, usually I get my shrimp cooked first, then I add in the callaloo. And when the callaloo is softened enough, then I go in with the eggs. Alright? So I'm gonna cut the chat in and I'm gonna just watch the progress. Watch the greatness on the screen. And while you're doing so, please remember to subscribe. So again, with a little mix before we start pouring. And guys, I normally pour in the center, right, and allow it to spread as evenly as possible, but I don't allow the mixture to go all the way to the ends. You can, but I've just had bad experiences with it spilling over, so I try not to make it go too far over the ends, because then once you close it now, it's gonna spread out even more. And as we progress, you'll notice that the light will turn blue again, and that usually means it has started to cook, and then it's going to turn off again to indicate that it's time for me to take it out. So while the waffle is doing its thing over there in the Dash waffle maker, I'm just sauteing the shrimp, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and add the callaloo as I had mentioned before. I usually want the shrimp to be halfway done, about halfway done, and then I add in the callaloo. Me and I like soggy callaloo, guys. I like my callaloo al dente, I like a firm, so we're not gonna make it sweat too much, but we do want it to soak up all the flavors of the shrimp and the seasoning. And what I like to do as well is to add a little bit more salt and pepper to the food. Last time I did this over the weekend, Boobsy did end up add more salt, so obviously my hand I get light with the salt, so just gonna add a little bit more salt. And as a true Jamaican, add a little bit more oil, because I don't know if you wanna notice, but vegetable love soak up oil, right? Love it. So just add a little bit more oil, so that way we can ensure that nothing is sticking to the non-stick pan. Yes, I know that was redundant, but it just is what it is. Right? And then, as I said, we'll add the salt and the pepper to give it an extra buzz, right? Because technically we never season the callaloo on its own, so we have to give it a little seasoning, give it a little vibes, right? And we just go ahead and saute that while keeping an eye on that blue light, because as I said, once that blue light turn off, see there, look there, like as me taught me didn't know. And I actually like to use the tongs to take out the waffle. And you see how it sticks on the top? Yeah, that happens sometimes, but it's completely fine, So I use the tongs to just get it out and see, pop it right out and put it on. Does that not look like a perfect waffle? It's a perfect waffle. I could have added a little bit more mixture, but it's good. It's all good. I'm sure it's gonna taste good same way. Look pon nice eggs. Look pon nice waffle. That is it. So we turned off the fire under the eggs. So they're sitting comfortably in the warm pot. And we're just waiting on this last waffle to be ready so that we can serve, which is obviously the best part. It means that we're one step closer to what? Filling with belly.